So the results are in, and you guys are going to be really surprised with what we found. Now, you may be thinking, what the heck are you guys talking about? What do you mean the results are in? Well, time to time, Nancy and I will share with our network and our email list a business assessment. We're always looking to take the temperature of the people that are in our ecosystem and really find out what people are struggling with most. And we really wanted to kind of pinpoint what is actually stopping established entrepreneurs and business owners from scaling what they have in front of them. Now, before we share the biggest takeaways from the assessment results, this is the final week that you can grab one of our early bird pre-enrollment spots in our group coaching mastermind, Expert Authority. And there is officially one spot left. So if you want it, it's yours. So if you are a coach, consultant, service professional, so you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, you're an insurance agent, you're owning
Coach, consultant.
code, yeah, any of those things, finance, grab a time on our calendar. If you're looking to grow and scale, become more established, not just using LinkedIn, but off of LinkedIn with systems, strategies, consistent sales, and client acquisition, that is where we can help you in our year-long group coaching mastermind, Expert Authority. So if you're watching on social, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, just type the word me in the comments if you'd like to grab one of the final spots, and we will send you the calendar link where you can book a time with us. If you're listening on the podcast, super duper easy. The link to our calendar is in the description, and you can just grab it there. So, the assessment results. Some of these, I will say, personally speaking, I was not surprised about because I kind of know from a 10,000 foot view what most people are struggling with. But in all honesty, there was some that I was actually kind of surprised because this is coming from established entrepreneurs and business owners. So the first one, which again, I'm not shocked about, is sales and client acquisition. This was the number one pain point and area of frustration that people had. This was dominated by the people that took the assessment. And what I can say is this is also one of the main reasons why Nancy and I continue to lean on LinkedIn, but also advise others to use it the way that we do, because it provides consistent sales and consistent clients being acquired for what you're offering if you know that your ideal client is on the platform. So what we found was the people that said that this was their biggest issue, inconsistent pipeline. So there weren't people dropping into the top of whatever pipeline or funnel they had. So they were running out of people to talk to. Converting interest into closed deals was really lacking. So they might have people interested in what they're offering, but it wasn't leading to a credit card being, you know, pulled out and then a client being acquired, but also a lack of building systems to allow that business owner to have predictable revenue month after month. And this is something that I totally resonate with because Nancy, for a good portion of the beginning of my coaching and consulting career when she was helping me, I was literally flying by the seat of my pants every day. The number one frustration, and I would have a breakdown probably every other month. Like I was just so burnt out of trying I had to sell every single week. I had to pick clients up every single week. And I was giving deal after deal after deal because we needed money to come in. And having the predictable monthly recurring revenue that we have now allows us to better focus, to grow and scale. Now, the next one, before I turn it to Nancy, area of frustration, time and capacity constraints. This is also not a surprise because one of the things that we hear most often from people in our ecosystem is quote unquote, I don't have the time, or quote unquote, I'm so busy, I don't have the time for this. Here's the thing. When something is important to us, we make the time for it. So when someone says, I'm too busy, or they're not focusing on this, they're focusing on something else, what you're really telling, not to myself and Nancy, but what you're telling yourself is what I should be focusing on is not important to me. Now, here's the other thing. Most entrepreneurs, we all suffer from some form of ADD or ADHD, like we're, squirrel brain. It's real. And a lot of entrepreneurs are multi-passionate entrepreneurs, meaning they love creating, they love launching, they love having new things, shiny objects. And Nancy and I were those people. But what we realized is that when you start to trim the fat and focus on one thing at a time, and you put your time and energy into it, that thing you're putting the right time and the right energy into will grow. So, what were some of the other results from this assessment, Nance, that kind of took you surprise?
Yeah, I mean the other one I would say I'm not surprised at, but it appeared, quite a few times was the knowledge and skills gap. So this is people saying, I don't know how to market at this level, or I need clarity on advanced strategy. I'm not confident in what I'm doing. I hear that a lot, right? Where it's like I sit down at my computer and kind of glazing over here. My tabs are open, but I'm not really sure where to go. I hear this one quite a bit. And, with the amount of knowledge and information that we have at our fingertips now, especially with AI and really just everything that is readily available, that can be a little surprising, right? That is a huge gap for people. But, when you don't know the right questions to ask, when you don't know what is required of you, right, in your particular business to scale to that next level, when you haven't actually had, a community of people that you can talk to that are right there with you and saying, oh, yeah, let's take a look at your org chart. It's time to hire an XYZ, and here's the budget for that. And, here's some planning, that you can put around this. Well, that makes sense. And so knowledge and skills gap did appear quite a few times. And it's again, we don't know what we don't know. So sometimes, again, having someone who's been through this before, who kind of knows, what those next steps are, is incredibly, right, valuable. And then the next one is, and we see this one all the time, guys. In fact, going back to the first mastermind that I was ever a part of, I remember a guest came in and they were talking about this topic, and it really moved me and it really hit home. And that is mindset. Okay. So mindset and productivity issues came up quite a few times, specifically around procrastination, focus, maintaining consistency, money mindset, right? So that whole chunk is so huge. And the guest that I told you about, right, that came to my mastermind, she flat out said, mindset is everything. If you do not fix your mindset in entrepreneurship, nothing else matters. If you cannot get this right, this is not going to build and grow and flourish. Okay. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we are the ones in our own way. We're the ones that are unproductive. We're the ones that don't have consistent routines. We're the ones that are, having those limiting beliefs and thinking, how dare I, or how could I, so we've got to make sure that if you have mindset issues, or if there are things that keep popping up, that you guys really need to shine a light and reflect on that, because that is everything when it comes to moving the needle in your business.
So I would say that the final two, and I'm going to take the first one, and Nance, I want you to take the last one. This one did kind of surprise me because if this was a newer entrepreneur and a newer business owner, I would not be shocked by this. But the fact that we polled seasoned business owners and seasoned entrepreneurs, meaning they were in business for 3+ years and more, right? Marketing and visibility. Now, why this surprised me is because after a certain amount of time, namely, 3 years plus, you're not new to the game. You've probably been using social media for some time now, and obviously, hopefully, you've picked up clients along that way. And the way that you pick up clients is that you market yourself, and you market yourself on social media, you market yourself at networking events, you market yourself on a podcast, in a book, various mediums, right? But the thing that shocked me is that standing out in a crowded market, because here's the thing. even though we're all unique as individuals, Nancy and I are not the only ones teaching what we teach. Nancy is not the only one that teaches that she teaches, and I'm not the only one that teaches what I teach. Namely, all of you guys as well. There's other people in your space, but I always go back to one of our core principles that Nancy and I learned in The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Live in a world of creation and collaboration instead of a world of competition and comparison. So if you have that that mental note in your mind that, oh, this space is crowded, this space is overrun with this type of profession that I'm in, or this coach that I am, or consultant that I am, it's only going to hamper your success because it's not going to really motivate you to want to be consistent. It's not going to really motivate you to want to market yourself to create more visibility. So you have to understand that the longer that you stay in the game, the more consistent you are with your marketing and visibility efforts, the greater of a return, not on your time, but also on the opportunity to acquire more clients is going to come back tenfold. So understanding that there's always going to be a crowded place on social media. That's why it's a free medium, right? It doesn't cost any money to use social media. You don't have to pay for LinkedIn. You don't have to pay for Facebook. You don't have to pay for Instagram if you don't want to. So it's a free medium for everyone to use. So of course there's going to be people on there. Of course there's going to be competition. But you can't look at it that way. Nancy always says this. If there's no one in your space doing what you're doing, is what you're doing wanted by other people? Meaning, if you want to teach or coach on a certain area, and one of the things that Nancy always recommends people to do is do your market research. Go Google, go search for other people similar to you that are doing what you do and look at what they're doing. And one of the scary things that can happen is that there's no one doing that, which can be looked at from two perspectives. Like, oh my God, you know, you may like have that scrub daddy type syndrome. Like, it's the first thing that's ever been created like this, right? But the other side of the coin and what we've learned from business, if there's not a demand for it, it may not be needed. So it's good that there's other people in the space that you're in. That's validation that there's people out there investing in things like what you have. So, Nance, what is the final, but frankly, most shocking one that we found out from these seasoned business owners and entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the people that took the assessment, financial resources were not a concern, right? They actually had the financial resources to invest in their business. However, this was not a huge focus. This wasn't a problem, right? So what this really means is, most entrepreneurs, at least the ones that we surveyed, and again, we have an ongoing business assessment, right? We've had hundreds and hundreds and approaching thousands of people take this. And the thing is they don't lack talent. They don't lack work ethic. They don't lack money, and again, that's why it was kind of surprising. It's like, yeah, like, they have money to invest in certain things. It's stalling out on the fact that what took, you know, you to grow from 0 to 10,000 or whatever it might be, is not going to work in that next level of growing and expanding your business, right? You have outgrown strategies, maybe things that aren't working. Do you have systems in place, right? Do you have actual structure to your business? Because almost all those things that we talked about, right? In fact, the common things in our mastermind, right? Expert authority, which, we are open for pre-enrollment right now. This is the last week actually for it. But the thing is the words that bubble up most often are clarity, visibility, and accountability, right? Those are the ones that always kind of tend to bubble to the surface. And it's clarity around the systems, the foundations, the things that you need to do, right, to get that to that next level. Clarity equals confidence. Okay, it's just no other way to say it. When you are clear on the value that you deliver, on the prices that you're charging, on the people that you help, right, things get fun, right? Everything gets more fun. Around accountability, it's having that support, right? It's having that system. It's having those people that you can reach out to that like you trust, right, who have been there, who have grown businesses, that who have been able to get over that threshold. And it's all about getting your business out there, right? Getting visible, showing up, knowing the things to do, right? We even said it. We recently did a podcast episode about the things that we're taking into, 2026 and in this year, like what we're really focusing on. And one is super, super important, and that is getting more visible in front of other leaders, in front of other coaches, consultants, people in our space. It's forming more of those partnerships and getting out there. And guys, these are things that take effort, right? It's very specific strategic effort, but can monumentally change your business. And that's exactly why, we created the mastermind that we created, right? Expert authority. In fact, Scott and I, we always joked, we're like, we want to create the program that we wish we had, right? We had joined multiple masterminds where we had been a part of it, and it was more, what are you bringing to the mastermind, right? It was just, a lot of networking, connecting, and, it was, how are you going to squeeze the juices out of this? We really needed a mastermind, and we wanted a mastermind that not only talked about the what, but also helped provide resources and answers and applicable, tangible, plug and play how. It's yes, we know the what we need to do, but it's also, answering on the back end how to actually do it for your business. And that's exactly what we created, and our expert authority program isn't just, for people and entrepreneurs who are trying to get their first clients, right? That is not who this is the best fit for. It is for people who have a business. They've already proven their expertise. They're already, experts in their space, but they want the systems. They want that visibility, right? They want offers. They want to make sure that they're doing the right things to confidently grow. And that's exactly what we do. And guys, we've been doing this for years at this point, and Scott can kind of chime in. It's been such a labor of love.
Yeah.
Yes. Scott, he's seeing my video. He wants to say something. Do you want to say something?
Well, we're going into our sixth year of this mastermind, which is just crazy to me because I remember the first time we ever launched it. But what I'll say is what makes it so unique and special. Number one, uh, it's not like other masterminds out there that charge 30, 40, $50,000 to be a part of. We've made this very monetarily feasible for anyone at any stage in business because we care about positive ROI. So we priced it the way that we did to make sure that if someone does do the work and they have the right things in place coming into this, they can double, triple, and even 5x their business, which we have seen that type of growth in 12 months in our program. Like we have seen people double to 5x their business. And that's what we want for those people. And that's why we always like getting people in the door as quickly as possible with the pre-enrollment that we have going on until January 5th. The other thing that I'll say is what makes this really unique is that we keep it very intimate and small, 10 to 15 people max. So there's great opportunity for collaboration, for business relationships being developed within the mastermind members. But it's not just a course or a program. Yes, we have trainings that you can go through at any point in a training portal, but there's group coaching 3 times a month, 2 training calls and 1 strategy lab call where you can ask us any question you want about what you're working on is available to you every single month. But also, each person in the mastermind gets to meet with myself and Nancy once a quarter for strategic goal planning sessions. So we believe in the 12-week year, we chunk down your big goals into very, very doable and achievable strategic goals. So you're moving your business forward every single month. And we even reward people for accomplishing their goals before the 90-day period, before their next quarterly, with bonus one-to-one with us. Because we know that's what has gotten people the best results when they work directly with us, not just in the group sessions, but one-to-one. They get that personalized attention and that personalized path. That is what builds the success road for them to go down. So, as I mentioned early in the episode, we do have 1 spot left for pre-enrollment. So if you would like it, it is yours. If you're watching on social, just type the word me in the comments and we'll send you the link to our calendar. If you're listening on the podcast, just go to the description. The link to our calendar is right there. But above all else, we want to know, what did you resonate most with in this training in this episode? What surprised you the most about these assessment results? And what are you not surprised about? And maybe what did you resonate most with? Leave it in the comments if you're watching on social. DM us on Instagram. It's underscore the time to grow on Instagram. You could just DM us and let us know what you enjoyed most about this training in this episode. Now, this is our final episode of the 2026 calendar year. So before we wrap up, we just want to wish each and every one of you a very, very happy new year, a healthy new year, a wealthy new year, and just everything that you guys are doing to support myself, Nancy, and our entire company, The Time to Grow. We look forward to working with all of you this upcoming year and helping you to grow and scale to levels you can't even imagine. So, everyone, please enjoy the rest of your days. Love and gratitude, and we'll talk to you next time.